it's C4C Natural. I'm back with another video. And today I'm giving some tips really specifically to the 4C girls. So I feel like for 4C girls, I feel like it's a little bit more of a struggle. And while I think maybe the other hair types, I feel like they kind of have it down. A lot of times, like as a 4C girl, we're finding ourselves struggling with length retention and reaching our hair goals. And so the main reason why I have a channel and why I make videos, even though I feel like there is a lot of content out there now, a lot of it is not specifically geared toward us for people with real 4C hair. And now, unfortunately, I feel like now there's even 4C fishing. So people who clearly like don't have 4C hair are claiming that type to get views. But that's neither here nor there. So my goal is really just to share my journey and what's working for me, and for us to figure it out together. I'm not claiming that I have everything figured out, that I always do everything perfectly. That's absolutely not the case. I'm actually recovering from a setback. But I do have some information that I want to share. So I think there are several trends in the natural hair care community that are kind of almost followed as Bible, but I think that they're a big reason why 4C girls are struggling to retain length. So let's get right into it. So number one is wet detangling. I know, like this is the first thing that everyone tells you. You have to detangle your hair while it's wet. It's easier to manage, And I did wet detangling for years. And the reason why I'm telling you you should not be wet detangling your hair is it's scientifically proven your hair is weakest while it's wet. The reason why it's easy to manipulate while it's wet is because your hydrogen bonds are temporarily broken and your hair is in a more fragile state. So that means that you're more likely to get breakage while your hair is in that state. So yes, it's easy to manage while it's wet, but that is because it's in a more fragile state. So wet detangling, I feel like you can probably get away with it for a while, but after a certain point, you're gonna see that you're not retaining length. And that's because you're handling your hair while it's wet, you're doing all this rough detangling, you might even be using detangling tools while it's wet, raking through with like a Denman brush or something, and that is doing more harm than good. What you should be doing instead is detangling while it is dry and oily. So when your hair is dry, it has its integrity, the hydrogen bonds are intact, it's not as fragile, it's less prone to breakage, and the oil kind of like serves as a coating and allows you to kind of glide through. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I do my detangling during the pre-poo phase. So I pre-poo, I let the oil sit, and then before I move on to wash, I kind of rake through and detangle, and that has worked really, really well for me. That's been one of the game changers in my regimen. So I know this goes against what really 99% of YouTubers are saying, but like if you just do a little bit of reading, you'll find that it's true. And also if you try it out, you'll find that you will lose a lot less hair. So for me, like some of you are, have like incredible thickness and density and all of that, but I actually have fine hair. So I have to work to keep all the hair on my head. So I can't afford to just like lose a ton of hair during the hair wash process, which is what happens for most of us. And that's what was happening for me. And I realize now I lose way less hair during the hair wash process. So I know that it's working for me. And I think this is one of the big reasons why if you're a 4C girl, you might find that you're not retaining length. Obviously, this is true for everyone, but I'm speaking specifically to the 4C girls because our hair, because it has so many kinks and coils, that means you have more points of breakage. So while maybe someone with a looser texture might get away with it, you're probably not gonna get away with it. So that's why, this is true for everyone. Like everyone should be detangling while their hair is dry and oily, but especially for the 4C girls who are trying to break plateaus and reach new lengths that they maybe haven't seen before, this is really where I would start. Stop detangling your hair while it's wet. So number two, I would say is the demonization of oils and butters. So I know there's been like this big trend online, and I think we're starting to see the repercussions of this trend not working out so well for a lot of people, is the no oils, no butter situation. So I never followed that because I knew for me, when I incorporated more oil into my routine, that's literally when I started seeing progress in my hair. That changed my hair so dramatically. And that's because, you know, having that oily coating on your hair helps prevent breakage. Your hair needs oil. It needs oil. Okay. I mean, a lot of people say our hair needs water, but hair is actually hydrophobic and oleophilic. So that means that it, you know, naturally repels water and it loves oil. You know, and if you think about it, it's obvious. Like, your scalp produces oil because that's what your hair needs. I mean, obviously, like, some water is necessary in the process, but oil is probably the missing key for you. So I'm gonna do a video later on how to correctly use oils and butters for hair growth. But like the no oils, no butters, no trend, I haven't personally seen anyone who has done that and their hair is thriving. You know, maybe they say they spend less time washing their hair. You know, their wash day process is easy. Maybe it's convenient, but as far as retaining length, I personally have not seen it happen. And to me, like, the way you know something works is if you're getting results. If you're not getting results, I don't care who said what, it's just not working, you know? And especially if you're a 4C girl, I think you have to kind of step away from what everyone is saying on the internet and just, you know, maybe try things out and see if it's working for you. If you're not seeing results, and, you know, sometimes you're not going to see length right away. Sometimes it might take a little bit of time to see length, but you should be seeing results. So like, your hair should be feeling better. It should be looking better. And over time, you should see length. Of course, yes, you should see length. Maybe you're not going to notice length right away in the first month, but after 2 months, 3 months, yeah, you should be seeing some progression in your length retention. If not, it's probably not working for you. So don't be afraid to let go of things that are not working for you. It doesn't matter what guru said, this is the thing. If your hair is not responding, it's not for you, you know, and everything is not for everyone. Everyone is different. So I'm just sharing what's worked for me. And, you know, if we have a similar hair type, I'm hoping that it works for you as well. And so similarly, number 3, I would say is, it's kind of like the opposite of the no oils, no butters. It's the constant watering of our hair. You know, the idea that we need to saturate our hair with water at all times. This is just not true. Of course, your hair needs some water, but like, if you're daily spritzing your hair and then on top of that, you know, manipulating while it's wet all the time, you're probably going to find that you're not retaining length. So again, your hair is weakest while it's wet. So if you're constantly wetting your hair, you're going to find that you're constantly basically putting your hair into a weakened, more fragile state. So you have to be super careful with your hair while it's wet. I'm not saying you can never wet set your hair. I mean, I did that for a long time, but and it, you know, it worked for me to a certain extent. I think what I did differently is I only styled it once a month. So I wasn't constantly wetting it, but I did have a routine where I basically did wet braid outs, you know, but it was only one time a month that I was doing that to my hair. So that's why I was able to see length retention. But, you know, as my hair got longer, I realized I really can't let my hair be wet for extended amounts of time, that it's not really the best thing for me. And that's when I switched to blow drying my hair with the Revere on a monthly basis and doing braid outs. So that's what I do now. And similar in the same vein, wash and goes. And like, wash and goes is kind of a double whammy. It's because A, you're wetting your hair, and then B, especially like if you have a 4C hair type, letting your hair curl onto itself, it's just a recipe for single strand knots, for tangles, and for breakage. So as soon as I stopped that, I used to do a lot of wash and go puffs, and as soon as I stopped that, my hair changed for the better. And it was actually like my signature style. Like I used to do a wash and go puff, and I had a head full of single strand knots. So, and also like my hair stayed the same length for a really long time. I was not seeing any length retention. So, when I moved away from that and I started doing braid outs instead, keeping my hair more stretched and not letting the hair curl onto itself, I saw a huge reduction in single strand knots, and I was finally able to start retaining some length. So those are the 3 things that I recommend. Start there. I know it's not what a lot of other people are saying, but it has worked really well for me, and I hope that it works well for you. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I hope that you're subscribed to the channel. If you like this type of content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.